that West Ham are 99% certain that they will not sell Declan Rice this summer. 99%. Declan Rice has been offered an 8-year deal at West Ham United worth £200,000 a week on a rising scale to match inflation. An 8-year deal worth £200,000 a week. And at this stage, he's showing no inclination to sign it. There is a belief that the 8-year deal could become a 10-year deal if Declan and his people wanted such a deal worth £200,000 a week. So would they sell? Would they sell? There is a belief within the Declan Rice camp that he could get between £300,000 and £400,000 a week elsewhere. Whether that's true or not remains to be seen. What would be the magic figure? The magic figure might well be 150 million. But there is a feeling at West Ham United that there is next to no likelihood of that figure being offered for Declan Rice this summer. And that's why they feel they're 99% certain that they'll keep Declan Rice going into next season. So, Simon, what's your take on that? 8 years, could go to 10-year deal if his people wanted it, worth £200,000 a week for Declan Rice.
Who's going to sign that? What a load of rubbish. Who's going to sign a player in the pomp of his career with a marketplace that's supposedly bounding towards signing him? Who's going to sign an 8-year deal with West Ham? Why would you do it at £200,000 a week when you've just seen it?
When you know he's not going to sign it, why would you offer it?
Because you're playing to the gallery. That's what Sullivan and Gold do. That's their game. That's their modus operandi. And if someone comes in, he's probably right that they're not going to get £150 million for him. And I wonder who the suitors are, because we don't know who the suitors are. We knew who the suitors were for Harry Kane last year because they popped their head above the parapet. And, and it was clear to us that it was Manchester City. Yeah. But I don't know who are these suitors for Declan Rice.
Are they out there, Trevor? Do you think that another club
at the kind of money that West Ham will want
would come in with 150 million for Declan this summer?
I'm not so sure.
Because because somebody does that would probably spring it.
I think if you're looking at the clubs that potentially could afford Declan Rice, I think you definitely look to Manchester United, you look to Manchester City, who've got Fernandinho, who's coming towards the end of his contract. Manchester United have got a void in that area of quality. And then apart from that, I think you're going abroad. Possibly Chelsea. Obviously, Chelsea was there as a youth kid, so he's got affinities towards the football club and a relationship there already. So I think they're probably the three clubs in England.
You just said that no one can afford to sign Erling Haaland. So how can in the big clubs abroad? So where's he going abroad that someone's going to pay him?
Well, what about a new ownership at Chelsea?
That's
Todd Gurley down the road.
No, the key is not the new ownership at Chelsea. The key is the new ownership at West Ham. Because Sullivan will be writing cheques with other people's checkbooks sooner rather than later, because it's easy for him to position himself right now.
Well, you've constantly spoken about this guy Kretinsky being in the wings,
well, he has
investing.
He has an option to buy the club.
Yeah.
So, and I think that option will go through. And I think that ultimately that is where the future will lie in terms of West Ham's bravery. There's a blueprint that's been set. The blueprint being set by Tottenham, which is don't care what you are and who you think you are. You're not buying our player, and you, Mr. Player, you can do your interviews with whoever you want, but you're doing as you're told. Declan Rice has got a situation where he's got a contract for another 3 years, hasn't he?
2 years plus 1 year.
So there's 3, because it's West Ham's option to take, isn't it? So with that in mind, West Ham don't have to do anything. I don't see anyone paying £100 million plus for Declan Rice. Now, that means, where is Declan? Where is the situation? Because unless there's a real need, West Ham's need for funding has gone. It's gone. The fact of the matter was they refinanced their loans with Michael Tabor, or whoever they did it with. They've had a big cash injection as a result of some successes in the European leagues. They've got a big cash injection as a result of an investor. The desire to sell is less there than it was before, because it doesn't mean David Sullivan and David Gold have got going anywhere near their pockets. So with that in mind, I don't see Declan Rice leaving West Ham this summer.
In a World Cup year.
And especially with what's going on at Chelsea, with the new ownership, it's dragging its feet. They don't know where they're at the moment. They don't know what finances are going to be available. So you would say, I would tend to agree with Simon on this, but as a player, if you're at a football club and you've had a fantastic couple of years under David Moyes, you've personally done superbly well, but the club has matched that with their ambition, with the transfers that they've brought in, with the success of everyone as a group, the coaches and everything.
Yeah.
They've got to continue that to want Declan Rice to want to stay at the football club, and that's what I'd be concentrating on. Rather than offer him all the money in the world, concentrate on putting good players around him, continuing that upward curve of the football club, and trying to get West Ham not just in the top 6, but maybe in the top 5.
Of course,
and with
of course.
coefficients.
Why would you offer? I mean,
Well,
I
you
can't
say that,
understand it.
Simon.
because they're not doing the other stuff.
Why did Harry Kane say yes to a 6-year deal at Tottenham?
Okay, because that's a different discussion.
It does happen.
But we've got a blueprint here now. We've got
It's the same set of circumstances.
We've got Erling Haaland getting paid £375,000 a week. We've got Kevin De Bruyne getting paid £375,000 a week. We've got Jadon Sancho, who's not worth a fraction of this, getting paid $200,000-300,000 a week. So why would Declan Rice, who's one of the hottest properties in the world, want to sign a contract for £200,000 a week for 8 years based upon inflation? Why would you want to do that? When
So
you know
is
you
it
can-
going, is, but it,
Because
can it
it's
be cast
nonsense,
iron
'cause it's
sure? Can
playing
his
to the
people be
gallery.
cast iron sure that he's going to get $300,000 to $400,000 a week elsewhere?
He can be
I think it's a
cast
little bit
down
unfair comparing him to Kevin De Bruyne, who's one of the best players in the world, and also a player that they've got for relatively a small transfer
what's
fee,
Jack
and Erling
Grealish-
Haaland,
what's
who's
Jack
number 9,
Grealish-
probably
what's
the
Jack
most
Grealish getting
coveted
paid then?
young Jack, $200,000.
Okay, so you're saying that he can get $200,000 from West Ham, and if he goes on a big transfer fee, the salary won't follow that. If you're Declan Rice, and you're looking at the world through the eyes of the believing that you're an elite player, and he believes very strongly in himself, and he's a very good player,
do.
and believing there's a market for him, why would you commit yourself to an 8-year contract that determines your future on the back of what West Ham will do with you, rather than you determine yourself? You just wouldn't, would you? It's playing to the gallery.
I think if you believe in the club, and the club show you the project, the players that they want to bring in, what they want to try and achieve as a club, and where the finances are coming from, and they give you a thorough, detailed breakdown of what they want to achieve, then it's a question.
Yeah, he's rejected it, hasn't he?
So he doesn't believe.
Yeah.
He's
He's rejected it. Absolutely.
I mean, when £200,000 a week for West Ham is a lot of money. There was a big hoo-ha, a big hullabaloo, wasn't there, about Kurt Zouma and how much they wanted to pay him and how much they wouldn't pay him, and how much eventually they had to pay him.
That's right.
And so on and so forth. If you're Declan Rice, you're not signing that contract. Never, ever you sign a contract. And any football person and any football club owner and any football club agent, not that they're particularly relevant, but they are, tragically, in these circumstances, would ever advise a player to sign this contract. And David Sullivan knows that. So he's putting it out into the public domain because it positions West Ham in a certain way. That's how he operates.
You say David Sullivan might not necessarily have come from David Sullivan.
Whoever then at West Ham gave
But
you
that's
that
what
information.
that's what comes out of the club this morning. That Declan Rice has been offered an 8-year deal worth $200,000 a week on a scale to match inflation, the rising scale of inflation. So far, he has turned it down. So
About
far,
40%.
So far, he's showing no inclination
must be careful,
to
doesn't he?
sign it. And what would be the
Inflation.
magic figure come this summer for any club coming in from? Maybe 150 million might get him. But then again, it might not. Coming up to 11 o'clock.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.